Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deeper Waters podcast. I'm Nick Peters, your host, seeking to bring you the very best in Christian scholarship and apologetics. And today is no exception. We are talking about the great big world of Mormonism today. Movie out there, very much centered here in America, in the area of Salt Lake City. These guys or girls come to your door are usually very nice people. Most of us would love to have Mormons as neighbors. And for all I know, our guest probably does have Mormons as neighbors. But what about their doctrine? Are they Christians or not? And then what about Joseph Smith? How does he match up to Jesus? To discuss all that on here, I've brought on Dr. Tom Hobson. He holds a degree in social work from Southern Illinois University at Carbondale, a Master of Divinity from Gordon Cromwell Theological Seminary, and a PhD in Biblical Exegesis from Concordia Seminary, St. Louis. His dissertation was on the Mosaic Law penalty cut off from his people. He has written What's on God's Sin List for Today, and The Historical Jesus and the Historical Joseph Smith, which we are discussing today. He has also written journal articles including Aselgia in Mark 7:22, which argues that Jesus did name homosexual behavior as a sin. All of his academic work can be found on his website, biblicalethic.org. He was ordained as a Presbyterian pastor in 1983, has served churches in Missouri, Iowa, and Illinois. I'm going to have to restart this because I didn't have a recording going, okay? Sorry, it's taking a while. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Deeper Waters podcast. I am Nick Peters, your host, seeking to bring you the very best in Christian scholarship and apologetics. And today is no exception. We're talking about Mormonism today, and especially the two central figures of Christianity and Mormonism, Jesus Christ and Joseph Smith. How do they compare to one another? What can we know about them historically? And to do this, I've decided to bring on Tom Hobson. Dr. Tom Hobson holds a degree in social work from Southern Illinois University at Carbondale, a Master of Divinity from Gordon Cromwell Theological Seminary, and a PhD in Biblical Exegesis from Concordia Seminary, St. Louis. His dissertation was on the Mosaic Law penalty cut off from his people. He has written What's on God's Sin List for Today, and Historical Jesus and Historical Joseph Smith. He has also written journal articles, including Aselgia in Mark 7:22, which argues that Jesus did homosexual behavior as a sin. All his academic work can be found on his website, biblicalethic.org. He was ordained as a Presbyterian pastor in 1983, has served churches in Missouri, Iowa, and Illinois, and taught as a chair of biblical studies and languages at Morphland College. He is currently retired and lives in Belleville, Illinois. So, Dr. Hobson, welcome to Deeper Waters podcast. If my audience doesn't know much about you, can you tell us a little bit about how you got to be doing what you're doing? Mm. Mhm. He started talking about going on this grand tour. I couldn't help but think of someone else I've read, Adam DeMeyer, wrote a great book, Almost a Mormon. Not sure if you've read it or not, but he talked about how he first went to Salt Lake City as a teenager and he got very excited about Mormonism when he first saw it. I think it had something to do with the Mormon girls at the temple, really. That was the main selling point for him. But as his book says, he did get out of that and is now very strong in his Christianity. But yeah, Mormons, they really are a sizable church out there right now, aren't they? Hmm. Yeah. Actually, there does seem to be something incredibly fascinating about studying Mormonism because it's just such a strange movement. I can't think of any other word to describe it. And the way people believe it so much when there's actually right now so much that we know that contradicts it. It's incredible. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, so let's look into this book here. And your first chapter is Why We Must Know the Facts About Jesus and Joseph. Okay, why should we care about any one of these figures today? I mean, for people today, some will say, look, Jesus lived 2,000 years ago. Joseph Smith lived in the early 19th century up to the first half of it. Why should we care about any of them? Mm-hmm. Mm. Yep. I found it very interesting because I was about to mention Muhammad as a parallel. Why do you take Joseph Smith more seriously than Muhammad? Okay, so looking at the historical evidence, one thing I found interesting at the start that wasn't covered and I'm wondering if it will be covered sometime in the distant future for Joseph Smith, is a claim that's found on the internet constantly, certainly not among scholars, is the just base claim that Jesus even existed. And I remember talking to my wife last night and thought, yeah, I wonder if maybe a couple hundred years or so from now we'll have some Joseph Smithicists who are saying that there never was a historical Joseph Smith. So I was kind of curious if you just wanted to bypass that whole debate or what.